Have you ever felt a thirst so deep that water alone could not quench it? A thirst of the soul, a longing in the heart that echoes in the barren landscapes of your deepest trials. Humanity has forever sought solace in sacred springs and holy rivers, believing that some waters carry more than just life. They carry a divine secret. But what if there was one well, born not from geology, but from a mother's desperation and an angel's command? A wellspring that erupted in the heart of desolation, a place where life was deemed impossible. This is not a tale of myth, but a living, flowing reality. For centuries, pilgrims have journeyed to drink from it, seeking healing, knowledge, and a taste of the divine. They call it Zamzam. But its true power is a story far deeper than the miracle of its birth. It is a key, a liquid covenant between the heavens and the earth, a reminder that from our greatest despair, the most profound mercy can spring forth. We are told it is blessed, that it is a cure for the sick and food for the hungry. But what is the hidden truth flowing within its depths? Today we journey into the heart of the desert, not merely to understand a miracle, but to uncover the apocalyptic and prophetic power of a water that remembers the cry of a child and the faith of a mother, a water that promises to flow until the very end of time. The story begins in a valley of fire, a place without a single blade of grass, without a tree to offer shade, a place the scripture calls a valley without cultivation. Here, under the command of God, the prophet Abraham, the friend of the Almighty, leaves his wife Hagar and their infant son, Ishmael. He leaves them with nothing but a small skin of water and a pouch of dates. As he turns to walk away, a mother's heart cries out, "O Abraham, where are you going, leaving us in this valley in which there is no person whose company we may enjoy? Nor is there anything," she asks, her voice echoing in the crushing silence. He does not look back. She asks again, but still, he walks on. Finally, a divine realization dawns in her heart, and she asks the ultimate question of faith. Has Allah ordered you to do so? He simply nods. And in that moment, Hagar utters the words that would shake the foundations of the heavens, the very words that invite miracles. Then he will not abandon us. Here, in this crucible of absolute surrender, the stage was set. This was not an act of abandonment, but a divine test of tawakkul, of perfect and complete trust in the unseen sustainer. Days passed. The sun, a merciless eye in the sky, beat down upon them. The dates were gone. The water skin was empty. The baby, Ishmael, began to cry, his wails growing weaker, his small body writhing from a thirst that threatened to claim his life. A mother's heart cannot bear this. Desperation, the raw, primal instinct to save her child, took hold of Hagar. She could not watch him die. She ran to the nearest hill, a rocky mound called As-Safa, scrambling to its peak, her eyes scanning the desolate horizon for any sign of life, a passing caravan, a distant traveler. There was nothing but shimmering heat and endless sand. She ran down from Safa and across the valley floor to another hill, Al-Marwa. Again, she climbed, her hope dwindling with every step. Again, nothing. 7 times she ran between the 2 hills, her physical strength failing, her breath ragged, but her spirit, fueled by a mother's love and a sliver of faith, refused to surrender. This was not a mere frantic search. It was a ritual of pure, desperate seeking. It was a physical prayer, an enactment of the human soul crying out in its darkest hour. After her 7th run, utterly exhausted, she returned to her child, preparing for the inevitable. But then, she saw it. A miracle born from agony. The angel Gabriel had descended. With his wing, or as some traditions say, from the frantic kicking of the baby Ishmael's own heel, the sand gave way, and from the parched, dead earth, water began to bubble forth, life where there was only death. Hagar, seeing the precious water flowing away into the sand, rushed to it. She cupped her hands, building a small basin around it, crying out the ancient words, "Zam, Zam," meaning stop, stop, or contain yourself. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would later say, "May Allah bestow mercy on Ishmael's mother." Had she left the Zamzam flow without trying to control it, Zamzam would have been a stream flowing on the surface of the earth. But in her human desire to preserve the gift, she contained it, and it became a well, a concentrated, inexhaustible source of divine mercy. This was not just water. It was God's direct response to faith in the face of utter annihilation. It was a promise made liquid. "I hear the cry of the desperate, and I will not abandon those who trust in me." This sacred origin story is the key to Zamzam's first secret. It is the physical manifestation of Rahmah, of divine mercy. Unlike other springs born of rain and rock, Zamzam was born from trust and trial. To drink from it is to partake in that original moment of divine intervention. The scriptures of Islam are replete with affirmations of its power. The Prophet Muhammad declared, "The best water on the face of the earth is the water of Zamzam. It is a kind of food and a healing from sickness." This is not a metaphor. For centuries, pilgrims have testified to its miraculous properties. They have drunk it when hungry and felt satiated. They have applied it to their illnesses and found a cure. The power lies not in a chemical formula alone, but in the divine blessing infused within it. Another prophetic tradition states, "The water of Zamzam is for whatever it is drunk for." This transforms the act of drinking into a profound act of prayer. The water becomes a vessel for intention. One drinks for knowledge, and the heart is opened. One drinks for healing, and the body is restored. One drinks for forgiveness, and the soul is cleansed. The water acts as a spiritual amplifier, a conduit through which the believer's sincere supplication is met with a divine response. It carries the memory of Hagar's faith, and it invites all who drink it to tap into that same source of unwavering trust. The power of Zamzam, however, transcends the individual. It became the very heart of a civilization. The barren valley of Makkah, once inhospitable to life, was transformed. The sight of birds circling in the sky, a sure sign of water, drew the wandering tribe of Jurhum. They asked Hagar for permission to settle near the well, and she graciously agreed. A city was born. A holy sanctuary was established. The well of Zamzam was the nucleus around which the Kaaba, the house of God, would be rebuilt by Abraham and Ishmael. The water that quenched a baby's thirst became the lifeblood of a sacred metropolis, the focal point for millions of souls throughout history. Its existence is a historical and geographical anomaly. Geologists have studied it, marveling at how a well just a few meters deep in a region with minimal rainfall has continuously produced millions of liters of pure water for thousands of years without ever running dry. Its mineral composition is unique, rich in calcium, magnesium, and fluorides, which have known health benefits. But the science only describes the what. The faith understands the why. The physical properties are merely the earthly signature of a heavenly design. The well is a constant flowing miracle, a daily refutation of logic, a testament to the fact that God's providence operates beyond the known laws of nature. Let us now journey deeper into the universal wisdom that Zamzam reflects. Water, in nearly every spiritual tradition, is the symbol of purification, rebirth, and the primordial source of life. The Ganges River is sacred to Hindus, a place of spiritual cleansing. In Christianity, baptismal waters wash away sin and signify a new life in spirit. Mystical traditions speak of the water of life that grants immortality. Zamzam is the archetypal sacred water. It does not just cleanse the body, it purifies the soul. The ritual of Hajj and Umrah, the pilgrimage to Makkah, is incomplete without drinking from this well. Pilgrims carry it back to their homelands, sharing its blessings across the globe. It is a physical link to the sacred heart of their faith, a tangible piece of holy history. Furthermore, the desert itself is a universal symbol of spiritual testing. It is the place of emptying, where the ego is stripped bare, and the soul is forced to confront its own fragility and its ultimate dependence on a higher power. Moses led his people through the desert for 40 years. Jesus was tested by the devil in the wilderness. The desert fathers of early Christianity sought God in the solitude of the sands. The barren valley of Makkah was Hagar's desert, her crucible. Her frantic running between the hills was her test of faith, and Zamzam was her revelation. It teaches a universal spiritual law. It is in the wasteland of our lives, in the moments we feel most abandoned and hopeless, that the potential for divine intervention is at its peak. The mystic Rumi wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." The thirst was the wound, and Zamzam was the light. It reminds us that our breaking point is often God's starting point. This brings us to the prophetic and apocalyptic dimension of Zamzam. Islamic tradition holds that certain signs and places on earth are connected to the events of the end times. Zamzam is one such sign. Its continuous miraculous flow is seen as a living proof of God's power, a sign that will endure until the final days. In a world increasingly consumed by materialism, where faith is ridiculed and miracles are dismissed, Zamzam flows as a silent, powerful argument against disbelief. It is a pre-eternal water, a taste of the rivers of paradise promised in the scriptures. The river of Kauthar, promised to the prophet in paradise, is said to have a taste and purity that finds its earthly echo in the waters of Zamzam. To drink it is to receive a foretaste of the eternal reward. It is a comfort to the believers in times of trial and a sign for those who doubt. Its story is a microcosm of the human journey. We are placed on this earth, tested in a spiritual desert, and if we seek with the desperation and faith of Hagar, we will find our own inner Zamzam, that wellspring of divine grace that never runs dry, that nourishes our soul when the world offers none. How, then, do we apply this profound lesson in our own lives? We must first recognize our own spiritual deserts. They are the moments of crippling anxiety, of profound loss, of spiritual dryness, when our prayers feel like they are hitting a ceiling of brass. It is in these moments that the story of Hagar becomes our guide. Her 7 runs were not passive waiting. They were active, desperate seeking. She did her human part. She ran, she searched, she strove, even when all logic suggested it was futile. And only after she had exhausted all human effort did the divine intervention occur. This is the balance of faith. We must tie our camel, as the prophet advised, but trust in God. We must run our race, climb our hills, and then, with heart surrendered, await the bubbling spring. The practical application is to drink Zamzam, if we are able, with a conscious intention. Let it not be a mere act of quenching thirst. Before you drink, make a sincere prayer. Ask for healing from a spiritual or physical ailment. Ask for clarity in a time of confusion. Ask for strength in a moment of weakness. Connect your personal need to that original moment of divine response. You are not just drinking water. You are drinking a history of faith, a liquid prayer, a flowing miracle. You are connecting yourself to a chain of believers stretching back thousands of years, all of whom sought and found solace at this blessed well. You are aligning your own trial with Hagar's, and your hope with her unwavering trust. The true power of Zamzam is that it is a story that is still being written in the lives of every person who drinks from it. It is more than a miracle. It is a perpetual promise. It is the divine rebuttal to despair. It is the affirmation that in the geography of the soul, the driest desert lies adjacent to the most abundant spring. It is a message whispered from the ancient past that echoes with apocalyptic urgency into our turbulent present. Do not lose hope. The God who brought forth water from the dead sands for a crying child is the same God who hears your silent tears in the lonely nights. The Lord who sustained Hagar in her desolation is the Lord who can sustain you in yours. The well is not just in Makkah, its principle is imprinted upon the heart of every believer. Seek, and you shall find. Trust, and you shall be sustained. For in the final analysis, we are all wandering in a spiritual valley, thirsting for a truth, a mercy, a healing that only the divine can provide. Zamzam is the eternal reminder that the source is closer than we think, waiting just beneath the surface of our surrender. The journey to the heart of Zamzam reveals a truth as clear and pure as its water. It is not a relic of a forgotten age, but a flowing, living testament to a power that transcends time and space. It was born from the crucible of a mother's faith, a physical manifestation of God's promise to never abandon those who place their complete trust in Him. It quenched the thirst of a prophet child, became the heart of a holy city, and continues to be a source of healing and nourishment for millions. Its existence defies logic, its history inspires awe, and its spiritual resonance touches the deepest parts of the human soul. In a world parched by doubt and materialism, Zamzam flows as an eternal sign, a taste of paradise on earth, a reminder that even in the most barren valley of our lives, a spring of infinite mercy awaits those who have the courage to seek it. The story of Zamzam is the story of humanity, a story of trial, of thirst, and of a divine grace that never ever fails. If this reflection on the hidden truths of Zamzam has touched your heart and expanded your understanding, we invite you to join our community for more journeys into the wisdom woven into our world's sacred stories. Here on our channel, we explore the great questions of life, seeking the light of truth hidden in ancient scriptures and the human soul. We believe that the wisdom we revive from these timeless sources can strengthen your spirit and illuminate your path. Your support is vital to this mission. We ask that you subscribe to our channel, share our videos with fellow seekers, and enrich our conversation with your comments and likes. This helps our message of hope and discovery reach more hearts across the world. Your feedback and insights inspire us to delve deeper. May peace and divine light be upon all of you. May we all find the strength and wisdom for our journey, and may we discover the wellspring of mercy within our own hearts. We will see you in the next video.